Hello, good morning. It's coming up to 10 to 10 in the morning on Monday the 24th of March, and I'm out doing a 40-mile bike ride from my home in Bath, and this is the Fosse Way. This is the Roman road that ran from Exeter all the way up to Lincoln. And this morning I'm out on my giant tough road bike there behind me. I'm taking the Fosseway up to just north of the M4 because I want to go and visit St Giles Church. I saw it on the final section of Fletcher's Flapjack 100km Audax recently, and I just thought I've got to go there. I did a quick online search, and according to Google it's open 24 hours a day, so hopefully we'll get access. It just looks a real gem, and even if I can't get in, the setting is stunning. So I'm riding the Fosseway out of Bath almost to the church, just north of the motorway. This road I'm on now will actually kink around to the right in a bend, but the actual route of the Fosseway goes straight on, and we'll be able to ride that. It's a section of off-road, so I'm looking forward to that. Just as that straight section of Fosseway off-road rejoins the modern day tarmac at the top of that kink, we turn left and then we'll be at Alderton. So it's going to be a cracking ride. Being a Roman road, straight as a roller, I've just crossed that junction there. It's the busy Bristol to Chippenham Road, the A420, but the Fosseway just goes straight across it at right angles. That's called the Shoe, and then we're going to carry on along here, up and down a little bit, and then as we climb out of a river valley, just before we cross the M4, it actually crosses another main road, and that's called the Jib. That again, we'll cross it at 90 degrees, carry on a few hundred yards, pass underneath the M4, and then soon after that is Fosse Gate, and that's when we'll go off road. I'll see you up at Fosse Gate. Well, I've just passed Fosse Gate and I'm now on the off-road section of the Fosseway. We had some rain recently. I was expecting it to be a bit more muddy along here actually, but as you can see it's fairly compact. When I say compact, it's a hard surface, but you still got to watch out for big potholes like that. So the minor road I was on, which was following the course of the Fosseway, it just veered off to the right, and then it'll kink back around in about a mile or so along here. We'll rejoin it and the course will appear to go straight on. Long time subscribers may remember I rode the entire course of the Fosseway dressed as a Roman centurion a few years ago. I followed it as much as possible, and a lot of it is off-road. Some of it's on minor roads, some of it's across fields, and some of it is on really busy dual carriageway. I rode that as a week's mini cycle tour. I made about 6 or 7 videos of that, and I'll put a link to that series in the end screen on this video if you're interested in seeing that. It's a fascinating ride, much harder than I thought it would be. We get taught at school, don't we, that Roman roads are straight. They were built as straight as possible, although they'll change angles every now and again. And that fools your brain into thinking straight equals flat. Does me anyway, and I can assure you they're far from flat. If I put a screen grab of that route up, you'll see it's by and large straight. It's supposed to be England's longest straight road. If that route instead was a squiggle, lots of S's and everything, you'd instantly think, oh, hairpins, hills, wouldn't you? Yet, if you think about it logically, it's more likely to be following valleys, isn't it? So it's quite hard to get your head round. Roman roads are really hard to ride because of the elevation. They just literally do not go around hills, they go straight over them. So that was incredibly hard ride, especially the section just south of Shepton Mallet up to here actually. This leg of the Fosse Way makes a fantastic day out, actually, my hometown of Bath, should I say, Aquasulis, up to just south of Cirencester. A lot of it is off-road, and once you get to Fossgate back there, it's mostly flat, although as you can see, possibly bumpy as well. The course has actually been eradicated by the Cotswold Airport, which is ironic really, been there for a couple of thousand years and then it just no longer exists. They've built an airport on it, and what do airports have? About a mile of straight road, which we call a runway, so there's an irony there. So I had to curve around that one around the Fosse Way. You just obviously cannot ride through an airport. But apart from that, I believe I followed it as closely and as accurately as I was able to do anyway. It has got colder again. I'm riding north in effect, and it's a cold northerly wind. Such a contrast to my last video, last Thursday I think it was, when I rode that 95-mile training ride. It was so warm that day. I was determined not to go back into longs. I'm in shorts today, but I could have done with overgloves. It's quite a nip in the air. I'm hoping by about lunchtime, when we change direction, start heading south, it'd warm up a bit, or at least I'll have the cold wind behind me. But hey, I'm not complaining, it's nice to be out. So within a mile, come to the end of this off-road section of the Fosse Way. Just joining this farm track up to a single house, and then that road we were on earlier on, which was actually following the course of the Fosse Way, is coming in from our right. So we're about to rejoin tarmac. Can you see the alignment in front of us there? So this is the Fosse Way. That isn't, but it will become the Fosse Way on this junction. Here we are. Here we are, back on the tarmac. And our turning to Alderton is going to be left very shortly. So I'm now on part to Fletcher's Flapjack route, the 100-kilometre Old Axle Road, a week ago yesterday actually. This was the downward leg, the southward leg in the afternoon. So that car that's just passed me is heading up towards Sherston, which is where our final control was. That was the final section on the Old Axe, and as I was coming down this road, I just looked over, would have been to my right, although it's my left today, so I'm going in the opposite direction, and I just saw this church, and I just thought that looks wonderful. I'm going to go home, look it up, see what that is, and then I'll come back and explore, and that's what's happening today. Can you see? We're going to take this left-hand turn coming up. So this is where we leave the Fosse Way, just past that house there, which has got an amazing looking tower actually. That's great, isn't it? Cat weather vane, golden fox by the look of it. And we're going to turn left here. One of those signs, hopefully it's going to say Alderton. Yep, Luckington and Alderton. And I don't think the church is going to be too far away. So I saw it further up there actually, looking across. You can see the landscape just suddenly changed when we passed under the M4. It was very steep, wooded, rolling valleys. It's now very flat agricultural land. I noticed the sun's broken through the clouds just behind me, so I hope that's going to warm things up a little bit. It instantly feels warmer just getting out of that northerly wind, so we've changed directions, heading over westwards now. Well, we're just coming into the village of Alderton. There's the boundary sign. Down here then. Giles Church. A little pond there by this farm, very small place. What's really nice is it's got these wall baskets and tubs up there with heathers in, little conifers. Bet this looks nice at night lit up. It's got a porch with the wire netting on the front. Go inside and have a look. Gosh, look at that, broken open. Wired doors around the porch. Got these nice carvings at each end. And that arch. Okay, hat off. Let's go inside and have a look. Gosh, there's a really nice carving around the arch into the door. Wooden framed roof. Okay, let's go and have a look. Gosh, very semi-light. Do we need lights? Let's try it. Some, not all. Yeah, I think that's about right. Some light. Have a look at the visitors book shortly. Leave my money there ready to make a donation. That's the west window. The font there with the wooden cover. Then walking through the nave, got this lovely red carpet on. These old carved pews. Steps up to a wooden pulpit and through this rood screen. Oh, lovely colour coming in from the south. Gosh, tomb of somebody important, I expect. Up to the altar. St Giles, Alderton. Gosh, this unusual stumpy little altar, isn't it? Seat there, look, carved into the wall. Wow. And you can see there's a chapel that side. It's much darker. I could probably light it up, but I'm not going to. Let's have a look here. Personal little box pew there by the look of it. Gosh, gallery up there. Wonder if we can get access up there. Oh yes, we can, look. Ah, lights for the chapel. Oh, I don't think it is wise cut there. Look, they use this for storage. That's clearly they put that there. They don't want people going up there. That's fine. I'm going to respect that. That just completely changed, didn't it? Just those two lights look really nice. That's a bit too much. roof work. Okay, make sure I turn the lights off before I go. I'm going to give them a donation towards running costs, but I don't want to increase their running costs by leaving the lights on. Ah, seagull, by the look of it. Very symbolic in churches. Candy toy on top of it. Snoopy. Oh, poppy wreath there. World War I remembrance to those who gave their lives. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the First World War and 2 in the Second World War. I come to churches because I just love them. I love the architecture, I love the history, I just love the sense of peace in them. I'm not a religious person, I'd say I'm a spiritual person. There is a distinction. When I visited St Arilda's church last year, there's only 2 in the country, I believe, and they're both around here. I was reading up about her history. She was butchered and beheaded by somebody local because she refused to lie with him. You can make of that what you will. Local landowner. And then when I went up to Newnham-on-Severn recently, I showed you that upside down cross because St Peter had been crucified upside down, and that was to symbolise that. Imagine crucifixion is a pretty horrible way to die anyway, but having it done upside down. And then when I realised the dedication of this church is St Giles, I just did a quick Google search. St Giles is the patron saint of people with disabilities, lepers and Edinburgh. Legend. He is known for his hermit life in the 7th century and is often depicted with a hind female deer. Feast day. His feast day is September the 1st. Other names. He is also known as St Giles the Hermit. Miracles. According to legend, he performed miracles including healing the sick and providing for the needy. The reference to lepers reminds me of a very powerful scene I saw in that Steve McQueen film Papillon. I went to the pictures to see that. There's a scene in that which left an impact on me as a teenager to this day. In fact, you can watch that. It's only about a minute or so. I'll put a link to it up in the top right hand corner now, where Steve McQueen interacts with these lepers. When I read at the weekend about St Giles and his association with leprosy, that scene just instantly flashed through my mind. So have a watch if you want. It left a big impact on me as a teenager, and it stayed with me until this day. As usual, look at see who's been recently and signed the visitor's book. And the last entry is the 28th of February 2025 from Sydney, Australia, walking the Athelstan Pilgrim Way. There's Bristol, Tetbury, Leeds, Marlborough is that? I'm struggling to read. You may see I've got my torch on my phone on highlighting this. I'm not saying that's the last person to visit, but it's the last person who visited and took the trouble to sign the visitor's book, the 28th of the 2nd. Again, I've had to put my phone torch in, so excuse all the shadows. I'll just read you briefly from this book about its history. It says, our Grade 2 listed church in the small village of Alderton is dedicated to St Giles and Anne, yeah, that's what it says, and 7th century French abbot who gave much of his time to the care of lepers. It is thought that the church dates from about the 11th or 12th century, although there was an extensive rebuild in the 19th century when a spire was also added to the tower. As always, the links are in the description below. So the 28th of the 2nd, almost a month. Today's date is 24th of the 3rd, 2025. That's me, Andy C, Bath, Somerset. Comments. Cycled by recently and wanted to visit when I had more time, so that's what I'm doing today. That last entry there, it said they were walking the Athelstan Pilgrim Way. I first became aware of that when I picked up a leaflet in the porch of that church on that estate last year, when I'd rung up the key holder the day before and arranged for her to let me in and show me round. And I looked at that. It starts and finishes in Malmesbury, although you can start and finish wherever you like. and you can pick up a pilgrim passport, and each church you visit will have a stamp, and it's a bit like the old Athelstan days. You can collect all the stamps, and you can also get them here. Look, there's the pilgrim passport. If I open it up, you'll see on the back, that's pretty much it. It's based on lots of circuits. I don't think they expect you to visit them all in one day. Even on a bike, I wouldn't want to do that. That'd just be too much of an overload. But hey, look, there's one here. And in this little Tupperware, there's a stamp and an ink pad. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm starting my Athelstan Way cycle ride from here today. And I've got so many projects I'm halfway through at the moment. I thought, don't take on another one, but I think today is a great way to start, actually. So there's my stamp for the first of the churches I'm going to visit on the Athelstan Pilgrim Way. I'll have to read up a bit more at home, but as I understand it, it's a work in progress, and so I don't think all of the churches are up and running yet with the stamps, so I'll have to do a little bit of research. Can you see it's been done in little circuits for the kind of days out? I mean, I expect technically you could probably ride that in a day on a bike, but I wouldn't want to, it'd just be too much. So I think over the course of a year, 18 months, possibly even 24 months, I'm going to research those churches, visit them all, and try and fill my pilgrim passport up with all the stamps. Okay, so I've picked myself up the walking guide. I'm pretty sure you can download that for free on the internet, but I'm going to take that. So that's £4. The leaflet is free, and the passport is free. I was actually going to bung a £5 in there, actually, on top of the donation I've just made, but it asks you to actually pay for this separately. Oh, I see, pay via the QR code. Right, I need to quickly do that via my phone. And that QR code quickly takes you to their page. Just quickly bookmark that, put that in my church's file. Now I can pay for that when I get home. So it's £4. I'll quickly £4, yeah. Oh, this turned out better than I thought, actually. This has turned out much better than I thought. It's forced me to start that project. Got a pump organ at the back. Okay, I'm going to have a little wander around the churchyard. Just hear a magpie clacking away in one of the trees. Water back there. Got a door into the tower, look. Looks like they may have extended the burial ground, look. That looks old ancient ones. These much newer. That'd be the chancel window. And then that would be the chapel window. Gosh, look at those grotesques up there. That really is doom and gloom, isn't it? See a bird song in all the trees. I love churchyards, they're so often so peaceful. Gosh, look at the girth of that tree, that yew tree. Blimey, I need to go over and have a look at that. I don't know if this is coming out on the camera, but that is huge. I'm not sure what that is. Some sort of an insect box possibly, or bird box. I've never seen anything quite like that. Looks like it's screwed into the tree. I really don't know what that is. If anybody watching knows, please put a comment below. My first thought is it has to be something to do with wildlife, doesn't it? I just don't know. It looks almost like a gravestone put out there. I just really do not know. Wow. Careful I don't walk on graves. Now I'm outside the church, got my hat back on. It's actually quite a nip in the air. Haven't been warm since leaving Bath actually, I'm a bit underdressed today. Vicarage next door by the look of it. Then back round to the south porch and the tower. See a high vis going along there and just hear the clip clip clop of a horse rider. That's atmospheric. So that would be the road that I saw the church from when I was doing the Old Axe. There is a lady horse rider. So just a little bit about the Athelstan Pilgrim Way. The Pilgrim Way is being launched in September 24 as part of the Athelstan 1100 year celebrations, which will commemorate the anniversary of Athelstan becoming king, England's first king, I believe. The Pilgrim Way seeks to celebrate our churches as historic living waymarkers and to call pilgrims to unite, enjoy and help protect the future of our beautiful buildings by the act of visiting them. The total length of the route will be 100 miles, divided using 6 benefice routes. As I say, it's a work in progress, but you can sort of see eventually 100 miles, but lots of little circuits. There's more about it there. All the different circuits. Definitely a good cycling project for over the years for somebody like me who likes visiting churches. Time to leave, so I'm going to carry on this way, where that lady on the horse has just gone. I'm going to be running along north of the M4 before crossing the A46 north of Bath, and then I'll drop down Hinton Hill, do a big loop round, come back along the Bath to Bristol bike track. Meantime, I'm going to look for somewhere warm to have my sandwich. I was thinking of the church porch, but it's just not warm enough actually. In a couple of miles, on my way back towards Bath, I'm passing through Acton Turville, and I suddenly saw a brown historic church sign. Just leads you up here. It'd be so easy to miss. I would have missed it without that sign. Looks open. It's got a wonderful tower there, and that seats there, and it's actually catching the sun. You can see the clouds breaking up a bit now and the blue skies coming through. It actually feels warm, so I'm having my lunch on this bench. It's given me a chance to have a look at the booklet, and I've just realised I made a mistake. It was so dark in that church I couldn't see all this writing around here, but I've just realised I put the stamp in the wrong circle. So there's a dedicated circle for each. Oh, there's St Giles, Alderton. I should have put that down there. I'm not going to restart. Life's all about making mistakes and learning from them, isn't it? So I just need to remember when I go to that church at Corston, I need to put that relevant stamp in St Giles, Alderton. So I've now realised that each circle represents a stamp for each church. So there's going to be 36 in total. When I do get home, I can do a lot more research and plan some days out and have an idea which circles I need to aim for on that particular day. All I need to remember is when I get to All Saints at Corston to put that stamp in that one there. So the booklet will have a little story to it, won't it? People look at it in years come, why did he put the 2 stamps in the wrong places, although all the other ones will be in the right places? Aha! If you watch this video, you'll know, won't you? Now there's plenty of light, I'm starting to join the dots up a little bit. So there's 36 churches in 6 benefices. So you've got Upper Thames, Braden Brook, Woodbridge, Draycott's, Malmesbury, and this is Goresbrook. So this is guidebook number 2. This is just for the Goresbrook circuit. That one there. There's Alderton. And then on the back of this second circuit, walking guide number 2, the Goresbrook section, it gives you lists of all the churches on this rough circuit. Foxley, Norton, Hallavington, Stanton St Quintin, Alderton, which is where we went today, Luckington, Sherston, Easton Grey and Foxley. This really is the kind of project I like actually at home on my computer, transcribing that onto a GPS route that will make day rides out, so to maybe to get onto that circuit somewhere, follow it round, make a really good day out of it, then get home. That's just the sort of thing that I really enjoy with my cycle planning. My cycle touring really is in 2 parts. It's the planning at home and the actual riding itself. As I said, you come along the main street towards the junction, so you tend to be looking at the traffic options, and then it's only because I saw the brown sign I turned right. It looks like you're going up in someone's private drive. Then there's this open area. There's a water tap over there, by the way, if you ever needed water mains. Then you approach through these 2 trees, and unfortunately it's locked. It doesn't stop me marvelling at the architecture. Look at that wonderful tower there. Well, a few miles after lunch we came into Tormarton, turned left here, and see that would have been the old road, and it just suddenly stops because right behind there is the M4. You can see they've just slightly diverted the road and we'll be crossing over it. So I said earlier on we were going up above the M4, then we turned left westwards, and now we've just squared that by turning right at Tormarton. We're coming down now, crossing over the M4 this time. We went underneath it earlier on just after the gym, and then shortly after that we'll turn right, make our way along, cross the A46 out of Bath, and then drop down Hinton Hill to Hinton, Dorrington, and then join the Bath to Bristol bike track near Bridge 8. There's the old road and the new road which incorporates this bridge. That's looking up towards London, and that's looking down towards, well, there's the Bath junction there, junction 18. That'll be looking down towards Bristol and South Wales. We're going to go down here very shortly. We're going to be turning right. Now I'm approaching home and all the clouds have dispersed. It's actually getting quite warm. I may even be able to take my arm warmers off from underneath this long sleeve top. I was cold most of the morning, I really was. This is looking up towards the M4, just to the tops of vehicles going along there, right underneath these pylons. Look at the line of them over there actually. Right in between the gap of that nearest one, you can see a wind turbine just set down on the hill. And that's the hill we're actually going to drop down actually. So all these pylons are going that way, and they're suddenly dropped down as well. So the traffic you can see going along there, that's the A46 heading towards Bath and up to Stroud, and along there is junction 18 of the M4, and there's a big service area in there. Used to be a rest area, but the highways agency have got some kind of weighing station in there for lorries. It can quite often be really bleak up here. I've come off the motorway before in torrential rain or even in snow, and then although Bath is only 10 miles south from here, you get down there and it can be quite a nice day. It really is quite extreme up here at times. You're right on the edge of this escarpment, so you get all the winds and that coming over from the west. So that road is actually quite difficult to get across safely. You've really got to wait for a gap in the traffic and make eye contact as well, so people know what you're doing. Sometimes I'll just get off and run it across actually, and then this road will then carry on about another half mile or so, then it'll drop down steeply off the escarpment into Hinton. About a mile after dropping down Hinton Hill into the village of Hinton itself, this is the road along to Puckle Church. About halfway along, we're going to turn left here, down towards Doynton. We've just come this way, on this little minor road, down towards Doynton. But on the left, can you see what we're looking at? That big ridge of hills along there. I'm not sure if it's coming out on camera, but right along the top you'll sort of see little dots. That's the A46 road. That's the road we've just crossed. That's the road out of Bath. The A46 Gloucester Road as you leave Bath. And it goes up, climbs on that ridge, and then another half a mile or so along there, it joins the M4. I say it's the Bath to Stride Road. Actually, it goes all the way up to Grimsby and Hull. In fact, from Leicester up to Lincoln, it actually follows the course of the Fosseway. So it's a Bath to Lincoln road, just as the Fosseway was a Bath to Lincoln road. And they kind of merge in places, and it certainly merges a few miles north of Leicester. When I rode the Fosseway, you'll see I got up very early in the morning because I knew that would be a busy road, and I wanted to finish on a Sunday morning when I was hoping it would be quiet. Again, I'll link that series of videos on the end screen of this video. So that's the modern version of the Fosseway, the Bath to Lincoln road. Meantime, we're going to carry on down here, drop down. Just as we start approaching Doynton, we're going to veer off to the right, and that'll take us towards Wick, Bridgegate, then we get on the bike track. I'll finish the video maybe when we get on the bike track. Well, it's about 2:45. I'm on the traffic-free Bath to Bristol cycle track, old railway line, and I'm just sitting here looking at the view. It's quite hazy, it's lovely and warm now, so definitely a ride of two halves. This morning I definitely felt underdressed. I could have done with more clothes, I was quite chilly. And then this afternoon it just suddenly got really, really hot. It's been a fantastic ride. So there were a few themes really. First of all, the Fosse Way. I really wanted to do that off-road section that I like. I also wanted to visit St Giles Church, share it with you, my first thoughts. And then when I saw the Athelstan Pilgrim Way booklet, I suddenly realised, oh, this is on it. I will do that one day. And then when I saw the passport there and the stamps, I just felt I'm going to start it here. So I've got several projects on the go at the moment. I'm about 2/3 of the way through my 5-year approximately plan to visit all the thankful villages in the UK. That's this year's cycle tour will be visiting 6 of those. I'm also about halfway, possibly 2/3 of the way around my winter project, which is going to drift into spring and summer, to visit all the Churches Conservation Trust properties in the historic county of Gloucestershire. And now I've started the Athelstan Pilgrim Way route. I don't think it hurts to have several projects on the go over a few years. The other theme of this ride really was just I wanted to taper off the training ready for next week's 300km DIY Audax attempt. Said before, I've ridden 300s many times, and I was looking at my old record yesterday. In 1 year I actually rode 23 300s. That's almost a 300 every 3 weeks, isn't it? So that year I did many 300s. Yeah, I'm nervous about the one this year. Just as I said, it's to do with my age really. I'm fairly confident I can get round distance wise. Whether I can get round within the time allowance, I just simply don't know. So anyway, that'll be the next video. I wanted to taper off this week. That's the whole point of training, isn't it? To push your body a little bit, and then it overcompensates, and then you definitely need to recover a little bit and rest before a big ride. And that will be a big ride. That's probably going to be my longest ride this year. In fact, it'll be my longest ride for several years. I'll be doing some turbo training at home this week. I never filmed that, just to keep my legs supple and keep me ready for next week. So that'll be the next video. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed coming along on this ride. I'm just going to sit here for about another 20 minutes or so before I start heading back to Bath. And thanks very much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.